Hey YouTube!
Well, you want to go first?
Yes, I'm the mother of Zayla.
And I'm the daughter of my mother.
Okay, so today's topic is
the North versus the South. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I lived in the South when I was younger, and
I lived in the South about a year ago.
Yes, well,
about a couple months ago, actually.
A couple months ago, exactly. So I lived there a couple years ago. And currently, we are in New York City.
Yay.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so our first topic is, why did we move to the South? So I'm going to go first because I'm the mom, and I was the first one to move to the South. I first moved to the South when I was 12 years old, and I moved to the South because my mom decided that she wanted to move to the South. So we moved to Georgia, which was Atlanta, Georgia. At first, we were in Lithonia, and then we came back to New York, and then I ended up moving back to the South to Georgia when I was 15 years old, and that is the reason why I ended up in the South.
I went to the South because my mother here did not want me to go to school down here. For some reason, it's on her. I was down there with my grandmother while my mother was still down here in New York. I was in South Carolina. North Charleston, I believe I was. Yeah, it was North Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, I just went there for school. And I was there for 3 years. I went there when I was 10?
10.
Yeah, I was 10 years old. And 3 years later, here I am, back in New York. Which, I was in New York since I was 3 years old. So 3 to 10, and now I'm back here for 13.
Okay, so Southern schools versus Northern schools.
Me first. Okay. So, I'm gonna have to start with Northern because I was in there first.
Okay.
Northern schools, to me, they were really fun, kind of. And I thought I was young, so everybody was friends with me. We were all together, friends. Until I got to the fourth or third grade, it started to change. There was oh, I'm popular. Oh, I'm not, and stuff like that. I was. But kids in New York, they are not nice about it. They will shove it in your face what they are. The North, they just were so rude. South Carolina is a different story. The schools were basically all good schools. They had the school planned out what you're going to go to next. If I was still down there, I would be going to a school that I knew I was going to have to go to since 6th grade. You have no choice of what school you want to go to down there. Yeah, the same popularity stuff down there, but they're not as abrupt with it, but then they are. But it was easy to get friends because people down there were cool and stuff. But now that I'm back here, people are so annoying. High school, it's just, the people, they're annoying. They think, oh, this teacher's that, oh, this teacher's that, oh, they only like that, only because they don't get the work done. Which kids are they're crazy down here. In schools, the teachers are also crazy. So that is my input. Now your turn.
Okay, so I first, of course, went to school in New York because I was born in New York, and I went to school from kindergarten up until the 9th grade. So elementary school for me was very hard. In New York in the 80s, there was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of parents who were on drugs, and so naturally Their kids were affected by the drugs, so their kids came to school angry, hungry, whatever the situation was. Middle school was, it wasn't as bad as elementary school, but far as of course, the cliques and different things like that, we did have that in middle school. And the ninth grade, I only went for 1 year, and that was kind of like the best year far as the students are concerned. Everybody was a little more mature, and different things like that. The only thing is that trying to deal with like far as designing, I guess, your own classes. Like we had the choice to really design our own classes. And so that was a little bit difficult because all of your classes already designed for you when you are in elementary school and middle school. And when I went down south, and I actually had to repeat the ninth grade over again, and it was different because you didn't get to design your own classes. Whatever classes they gave you, those were the classes that they gave you. Coming from the north, basically in the north, we do whatever we want to do far as our dress style. For the most part, depending on where you come from, everyone is not like dressing the same. They're not matching their clothes up and different things like that. And when I went back to Georgia, it was like a major thing. Like, oh my God, she's wearing these clothes and they don't match, or, whatever the situation was. And then, I came down with extensions, and they weren't really into extensions in Georgia. And it was a big thing about, oh my God, she's wearing extensions. And it was just like a lot of catty stuff with the females. It wasn't so much that they were like willing to fight you, but they were willing to talk about you directly in your face. And, coming from New York, that could have led, of course, to an altercation. But, of course, at that time, I wasn't into, having any type of fights with people or anything like that. So that is the difference between the North and the South far as school is. Oh, and plus a lot of the kids, they had their own cars, which was pretty cool. So I got to bum a few rides home from school. So
if I could barge in, it's kind of different in New York. Even in high school now, I don't get to pick my classes, but in South Carolina, I did. So the times have changed.
Yes, obviously the times has changed. Okay, so Southerners versus Northerners.
Want to go first?
Okay, so I'll go first. So, of course, when I first went to the South, in New York, people have a sense of humor, and they are very sarcastic and very rude. Just put it that way. They can be very, very rude, but it's like a natural thing to be that way, because it's like so many different nationalities in New York. So you have the Italians, you have the West Indians, you have the Africans, you have the Europeans. I mean, you just have so many different nationalities here, and basically they all kind of clash in to each other. And so everyone kind of picks up on, different things. In the Asians, I mean, I forget about the Asians. And so they, you pick up on each other's behaviors. And so it's just like, this is a very like laid back environment. Like people don't take each other seriously. Versus in the South, when you go there and you try to make like a joke or whatever, people are not receptive. They're like, it's just blank. And you're like, okay, but that was really, really funny. Like, even when I was in school and the teacher would try to make a joke with the kids, I'm the only one in class, like, dying laughing. And everyone is, like, stone-faced. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, these people have no sense of humor. And it was so annoying. And even though, you know, for the most part, you know, Southerners can be pretty nice, but they also can be pretty mean as well. So if I had to take the attitude far as just generally living somewhere, I definitely would prefer a New York attitude. But far as customer service and things like that, I would definitely prefer a Southern attitude.
Okay, we talk about the times have changed. Hello. Oh my God, people in New York, they're rude, they're nasty, they are just angry people. Like, I've almost got hit like twice in this 1 week because people want to be mad at me for walking slow. I mean, it's my light. And if it turns to their light for 5 seconds, oh, get out of the road. What is like, and when there's a stop sign, people get mad when I stroll because they want to go. You have nowhere to go, literally. So why? Why? And I just don't like the attitude of New York people at all. South Carolina, I can stand to be around their people. They come by you, they say hi, how are you doing? Or they smile. Even and New Yorkers have a sense of humor. Since when? I mean, they be the ones that be blank faced to me, like, huh? I mean, they laugh because I'm a funny person. Hello. But, what do you mean? I'm a funny person. In the South, they laugh more to me than they do down here because, you know, I don't know why. But my friends in the South, they were nicer. They were annoying, but not as annoying as people down in New York. You look at somebody in the street, they look at you like, what are you looking at? Like, and they could be looking at you first, but if you turn their eye, they have something to say. And sometimes I just want to tell you as New York, it's like if they look at me, it's like a picture lasts longer. So this is off topic a bit, but if you want to look at somebody, a picture lasts longer, guys. But if I were to say attitude, which one is better? I would say definitely inside South Carolina because New Yorkers' attitude is just awful.
Okay.
So
getting around in New York, the North versus the South.
Alright, so you could take the bus, the train. You can walk everywhere. Down here, there's not much need for cars down in New York. But in South Carolina, it's like people drive for everything. There may be sidewalks, but there's only sidewalks for about 3 blocks, and then it's street and grass. It's like, wow, you want to go to a store? You're going to have to go all the way across town to get it. Down here, there's a store right on the corner. I don't know about where we at, but where we were, I swear, other 2 apartments that I lived in, right across the street. There was actually 2 across the street, 2 corner stores. And then the other one, there was a corner store that was right on the corner. In South Carolina, there was a whole market. I mean, it wasn't that far, but it wasn't right on the corner. I mean, wait. I mean, it was close because this is a house complex. And then about all the way over here is the Food Lion and Chinese store. Just wait. The computer don't go that far. Then about all the way over here was the store. See, I had to move real quick. Move closer. So, I had to cross the street to go to the store and everything. But most times when you really want to go to a good store, you have to drive. Mom, stop looking at me. I know I'm taking a long time. But, yeah, that is my opinion of traveling. Your turn.
Okay, so of course I will reiterate a few things that Zayla pointed out, yes, in New York, there's, all types of transportation. You even could, ride your bike. Just gotta be very, very careful in riding your bike, of course. But we have all forms of transportation covered. We even have different type of hoverboards that you ride on, whatever you want to do. You can get around New York City basically if you wanted to. Now in the South, when I was younger, of course, I rode around with my mom. So I didn't drive. So if I didn't get a ride from some adult or a friend of mine didn't have a car, then basically I was stuck in the house, like stuck. And that was an awful feeling of being trapped in the house. And even if you want to go to the store, like if you're walking to the store in the South, people are looking at you like you're crazy. Like, why are these people walking on the side of the road? Like, who are these people? That's how they would look at you. And in the North, you want to just walk out your door and you can go anywhere you want to go. And that is the beauty of the North versus the South. And as well in the South, if you have a job, of course you need a car. If you're going to school, of course you need a car no matter what age you are. And if you lose your job, then pretty much you can lose everything because your car is your bread and butter in the South. And in the North, you can't use the excuse that you got a flat tire. They don't care. You got a flat tire, you usually drive your car, you can get your behind on some type of transportation in which to get to work. So,
yeah, our next topic is the
things to do.
Yeah, things to do. I mean, I'm a boring person, so I don't do much. But if there were things to do in New York, we could go to Manhattan, which is very fun. Go shopping. Hello. Money, money, money. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can go to Manhattan. You can go to 42nd Street. That's also kind of fun, but there's a lot of people down there, and it's very crowded. You can go to a lot of places, actually. I like Dave & Buster's, Chuck E. Cheese. Yes, I love Chuck E. Cheese. Hello. In other places, like, you can even go to, like, KP or the Atlantic Center. There's fun things in there. In South Carolina, I mean, there's places to go to. I would say, like, they're ranked on the same level of activities. But it just depends, like the other one, if you have transportation to the activities. But, yeah, base fair activities, you can do a lot down there. And down here, too. So, oh, God. Thank you. Yeah.
Finish. Okay, so the South is boring as heck. All right, it's so boring. Like, I'm sorry, you guys. Oh my God, that is the most boring place on the damn planet. I haven't been everywhere on the planet, but it's boring in the South. The people are boring. The places to go are boring. It's just boring in the South. Okay, that's just period. I didn't have to say nothing else about the North as far as activities because the South is just boring.
You know what? I'm kind of from the South, but I'm from Virginia. What do you?
Well, that's not the South, but
it's like mid-South.
No, it's not mid.
Well, if a New Yorker, you say, "Oh, go to Virginia,"
you're going towards down south, yeah,
exactly.
But it's not the South. South Carolina starts the South, so even North Carolina is not the South. So technically, you're a Northerner no matter what.
Okay. Well,
okay.
That was kind of harsh.
Yeah, so next topic. The pros and cons.
We should just skip that.
For South and North.
Oh, we should skip it.
No, yes. I want to speak about the pros and the cons.
Okay,
so the pros of the South. When you get ready to die, you will go to the South and you will live very peacefully. Like, there's no ambulance flashing by. There's no police cars flashing by. You don't have to worry about a whole lot of things to do because there really isn't any. And basically, kind of, in my opinion, you can almost get to live like you back in slavery days, because that's what some people think, that they're still in goddamn slave time. Okay, so that is the pros and cons altogether. And the pros and cons of the North, and I'm just gonna simplify it. You're gonna die from the smog and the dirt and aggravation if you try to live here for too long.
Wow, you've been here for too long.
And the pros of it is that you can actually enjoy yourself to death. Like, seriously, like, it's the funnest place on the planet. And if you have a lot of energy and you're young or you're old, young, whatever, you will have a spectacular time in New York.
Wow, that was just blatantly wow.
Yeah. Okay, next topic.
I didn't even get to go.
I thought you said you didn't want to go.
Ma, I said we should skip it all together.
Okay, but then we skip now.
No, Ma, no, I'm going.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. The pros and cons for me. A pro for the South would be it doesn't get that cold in the winter. Another pro for the South is... God, I can't think of any. Let's go to cons for the South then. There's only like one transportation system. And that's it. Another con...
They have buses.
Not really. So, also, I don't know how I said that people are nice, but sometimes they're way too nice and annoying. God, the people are annoying. Okay, that's all I can think of for that. Pros and cons for New York. Pro, it's kind of fun down here. Cons, the people are nasty. The subways are nasty. The buses are nasty. The streets are nasty. Could you shut up already?
Really?
Yeah, I know. My hand is blinging. But, it's just very nasty down here. And there's no air. You may go outside and say, let's smell the air. It's a fresh day. All you're gonna smell is disgust. Like, you could just pass the street and be like, oh my God, it smells horrific. I know I just expect to go outside to breathe in, and then I breathe in dog crap, cat crap, trash. I mean, there was literally one of those electricity wires, a couple of them, hanging down, and nobody's fixed them. It was in the street one day, and nobody fixed it. Like, what? It's still hanging. So to our next topic.
All right, so the conclusion of which place, well, the conclusion period, it don't have to be which place is better, but just a conclusion of the North versus the South.
Well, I would say for me, the North is always going to be better. I know I said a lot of bad things about the North, but I was basically raised down here because it was most of my life down here. I've only have 13 years, almost 14 years on this earth, and I really do like the North. Is always going to be my home. The South, I was only down there for 3 years. I mean, what I saw of it wasn't much because I was, in the house most of the time. Mainly because who was going to take me anywhere, I went to a friend's house and stuff. It was okay. The people were okay. Overall, it was, not that impressionable on me. But the North, I love the North, and New York will always be my place. And South Carolina, I'm sorry, but I didn't like it that much.
Okay, so my conclusion, because I've actually lived in Georgia, I've been in South Carolina, where my mom is currently. I've been, going north-south, let's just say, because North Carolina, Virginia, so... I've been in a few places. I've been to Florida. I've been to a few places in the South. And definitely not every place was, that it was horrible for me. It wasn't. I would never want to move to the South. Never, ever, not in a million years. Only because I hate the heat, and I love New York weather. I love the North, period. And so both of them have their good and bad. If anyone was to ask me, hey, listen, what do you think about the South? I would say, hey, you know what? Go and check it out. Because what's not for me can be for somebody else. And that's just the bottom line. The same thing with the North. I'm not totally in love with the North. Of course, I was born and raised here. I am now 40 years old. And I am definitely trying to get out of the North. Not out the North. I'm trying to get out of New York City. New York City annoys me. Let me just say that. It really does. If you're not filthy freaking rich, you're going to be kind of annoyed in New York. Trust me. And so I'm definitely trying to move out of New York City, but definitely not anywhere near or in the South, not in the West. I would love to just stay here in the North and enjoy the rest of my days. That is my conclusion.
So, guys, I would like for you to give a big thumbs up.
Or thumbs down. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, or thumbs down.
Yep.
You can comment if you want, and if you can,
make sure you keep the comments clean. Nobody wants to hear your little dirty mouths, so keep the comment clean. Thank you.
Well, people are definitely gonna say something about that.
Who cares?
Subscribe down low. I was gonna say that before I was rudely interrupted, about the comments, which nobody cares about. So, like, dislike, I like your feedback. Comment, subscribe, because this
tell us how you feel about if you ever lived in the North or the South. Tell us how you feel. That's what we want to hear about.
Yeah,
tell us
what's your opinion.
Yeah, what do you think is the best, the North or the South? We're not trying to start the North or the South beef. We just
we're just
interested exactly in others' opinion on the North and the South.
Oh, and wait, I have something else to say. Don't cut this out. Like this a lot. Like, give me about 1K likes if you want to hear about straight rights. Okay?
Just disregard that.
No.
Please disregard it.
Mom, this is very important.
Disregard it. I don't even know what in the world is wrong with this kid right here. But disregard it. You see what I'm saying?
No,
Let's
don't.
cut.
1K likes.
Cut.
And we will do it. Bye, YouTube.